Oh boy, an Overreaction Monday with the full slate of December games for Week 14 in the books, with the exception of the Monday Nighter here in Los Angeles between the Eagles and the Chargers. Rich Eisen along with Christopher Brockman. It is total rubber meeting road for so many of the storylines we've been following for months and months and months. Good to see you, sir.
Great to see you. What a Sunday. What a Week 14.
All right, let's hit it. Go ahead. Go.
That was terrible.
That was crap. That was garbage. This place sucks.
Overreaction Monday.
All right, you want to get the Chiefs one out of the way, because you've been waiting to bury the Kansas City Chiefs for ever.
Rich, here's the thing.
I don't mean to be. I don't know what's on the paper.
Here's the thing. You don't. Again, Rich Eisen has no idea what's printed on this paper. I'm not going to do the thing you want me to do.
I don't want you to do anything.
I'm not going to do it.
I want you to be yourself.
I'm not going to do it yet.
Okay.
I want to start with the winners, Rich.
Okay, Chris.
History is written by the winners. What a game in Arrowhead. The Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud, tough as nails, maybe the best defense in the NFL.
Right.
They're going to be playing in the AFC Championship game.
I'll just call that an overreaction, since they're 8-5, and yes, they've won half as many in a row as the Patriots and the Broncos.
Yeah, but you don't want to play this team right now.
Well, you don't want to play the Broncos defense either, do you? You know, and you could make the case that Bo Nix is playing better over the last 2 years than C.J. Stroud has. Now you're making me nitpick now, because the Texans and the Broncos have played each other. You know, and the Broncos did beat the Houston Texans.
Yeah, but that was back when they were.
No, I know. I know football, it's all about what have you done now and how are you finishing now. They're worthy enough to finish in the AFC Championship game. They may have to go on the road, though, because the Jacksonville Jaguars are a game in front of them, and they split. Unbelievably, the Jaguars, if they had held on to that 19-point lead in Houston back in Week 10, then this thing would maybe be a wrap, with the Colts falling apart and the Jacksonville Jaguars having just beaten them. And that loss in Houston for Jacksonville is the only one that they've lost in since losing in London in Week 7. They've beaten Vegas, they've beaten the Chargers in Arizona and Tennessee, and now Indianapolis, and they take on the Jets, Jacksonville, next. So Jacksonville has... had they held on to that 19-point lead, then two things. They'd have swept the Texans, and the Texans' now current 5-game win streak that started with that comeback might not have happened.
AFC South,
so
sneaky tough division.
I can't sit here and say with certainty that they're going to be playing for the right to go to the Super Bowl. They could.
Wouldn't surprise you.
Well, I guess it would surprise me that the Patriots and the Broncos aren't going to be playing in that game.
Maybe one of those teams is in it.
Uh-huh. And then you got the Buffalo Bills suddenly.
Yeah, we're going to talk about them.
Run the football as well as they have, and now be able to stop it as well as they have.
They can't really stop much.
They stop the run. They can stop the run. I've got numbers to support it.
We'll talk about the Bills.
All right, then we'll do that later. I'll have that later. I'll just call this. I
want to focus on Houston. C.J. Stroud has taken a lot of crap this year. People forget that this guy has won a playoff game in each of his first 2 seasons, and he was taking hits in the second half of that game.
And he was making throws on third down when it looked like the Chiefs were going to get off the field. And the Texans have won the turnover battle by 3 or better now in 4 games this year. That's one behind the Bears for most in the league. C.J. Stroud, as you pointed out, made those nice plays. Nico Collins has come on strong, 90 or more receiving yards in 4 of his last 5. Woody Marks had 26 carries, all of them very tough but important yards. And the Texans defense essentially ended the Chiefs' reign atop the AFC West. They're out of that running with 4 games to go. And it was in Week 14 last year that the Chiefs clinched the AFC West. So the script is flipping, and the Texans making it past the divisional round to get to the AFC Championship game for the first time in this DeMeco Ryans era. And I don't even know if they've ever played in the AFC Championship game, actually.
I don't think they have.
So that's a tall order, and I'll just call that an overreaction for the moment.
All right. Now I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Sunday night was the end of the Chiefs dynasty. It's over.
I can't go there yet.
But why? What more do you need to see?
That, again,
the roster is not good. Andy Reid got pretty outcoached last night.
Well,
he made some pretty critical blunders that we're not used to seeing out of the Hall of Famer. Travis Kelce is absolutely cooked.
No, I can't say that. He's got 5 touchdown receptions. It's the most on the team this year.
But their weapons are so less than.
It's
you would
so
take so
easy
many
to
other
just call a
teams.
team cooked. They're not. Listen, they're cooked for the AFC West this year.
Oh, their season is cooked.
Their season does appear to look cooked right now because just to look at it with clear eyes and a full heart.
Well,
okay, that you look at the AFC standings now, and as I kept saying, they needed to win this game against the Houston Texans to have not one but 2 tiebreakers against whichever team that may not win the AFC South, that may finish second in the AFC South, whether it was the Colts, which we thought would have Daniel Jones for the rest of the year at the time, or the Texans if the Chiefs had beaten them. That would be the way through to the playoffs by having important tiebreakers in their back pocket for a wild card appearance. Now they're in a mosh pit at 6-7, 2 games behind a team that's sniffing it in the Colts. And I think now the problem with the Colts falling apart, they're not going to be in a wild card position for the Chiefs to cash in that tiebreak. I don't see a path that is legit that I can sit here and say they win out. They go 10-7. They're going to go to the playoffs. It's really looking bleak. This entire time that I've been seeing them dominate over the past almost decade, right? I know it's been 9 in a row for them, but since Mahomes came in.
Yeah, of course.
There's always going to be that moment where when will they have Mahomes for him to catch Brady, which is what this is all about in terms of dynasty. He's already surpassed Brady in terms of accolades and accomplishments before the age of 30. Brady, as we all know, had Hall of Fame careers in his 30s and his 40s. So how can Mahomes reach that level? We knew at some point there was going to be a page turn. How will they go ahead and get their second bite at the dynastic apple, just like Brady and the Patriots did with Gronk, all right, et cetera? Just trying to use shorthands here with Gronk, because Gronk is the avatar, I think, along with Edelman, for what that second dynastic run was at New England with the same coach and the same quarterback. And it's the same thing here is at some point Andy Reid won't be there either while Mahomes is still playing, one assumes. So I can't sit here and say this is the end of the Chiefs dynasty. It feels like it's the end of the first run at it.
Sure.
And in terms of what happened last night, it is just part and parcel of everything that we've seen all year long. I was sitting there in that booth in Brazil with Kurt Warner on the first Friday night of the season, calling that game between the Chargers and the Chiefs. And it was just 3 snaps into the game in which Kelce collided with Xavier Worthy, knocking Worthy out of the game and for the next couple of weeks. And ever since then, it just feels like this Chiefs season has been in a fog, has been cursed in a way. There have been now a couple of crucial Kelce drops to refer to you. He's not cooked, but the one on the screen here was thrown behind him, and had he caught it, it would have continued to drive that the Chiefs crucially needed. We all know there was one on the goal line that popped up also for an interception against the Eagles in week 2 to make the Chiefs 0-2.
And the Jaguars.
Rashee Rice last week against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day had one right over the middle that they needed to get in order to continue a drive to keep the game alive, and he dropped it. And that led to the Cowboys getting a 2-score lead on the Chiefs they couldn't overcome. Last night, it's 4th down, ball hits him right in the hands, he drops that. We also see some defensive lapses. And last night, what we also saw was Andy Reid making a dreadful mistake, going for it on 4th down, right in the middle of his own territory. And his defense is balling out, kick it. Yeah. Keep playing the same way that you are and get the ball back and try and win it there. Yeah. Instead, it all unraveled. they keep making these mistakes that we have not seen. And they're all coming in bunches, and they're all coming in a season that I think they wish they could have a mulligan on. Let's go back to the third snap of the season in Brazil. Make sure that everybody's running at the same depth, and let's go. But Chris Jones on that night, he took a path to Justin Herbert that allowed Herbert to escape and slide for the game-sealing first down.
Yeah, they haven't gotten the bounces. They haven't gotten the breaks. They haven't gotten the calls. You know, it's just one of those seasons.
So,
and the roster's not as good as maybe, a third of the league. It's just one of those years.
In the same way that Joe Burrow says that the Bengals will always have a chance to win the Super Bowl because he's there. He is the window. Okay?
Well, he doesn't play defense either.
He is the window, is what he basically says. And I'll say the same thing, obviously, for Patrick Mahomes and even the Chiefs haters out there. The Chiefs fatiguers who are very pleased with the results so far of the Chiefs now no longer being the kings of the West and maybe not even making the playoffs at all. That you're happy right now, but you have to admit that Mahomes still being there and Reed still being the coach for as long as he's gonna be, and other players who are there, that the window for them to be dynastic again is still around. It's still there. So I'll just call this half of a reaction that's proper and half that's not. I'll split the baby, which I know is normally not what we do around here. What else you got?
If you look at the AFC picture, I think the AFC is set, right? Well, AFC, we can get that on the flagship show, but I think the AFC is pretty locked.
Unless there's a 6-7 team that comes on strong. But yeah, I think right now you look at the 7 spots and you kind of think this is it.
Yeah. In the NFC, great game in Lambeau yesterday. Speaking of a team that's coming on, the Green Bay Packers. And, Rich, I said this after week 1, and I'm going to bring it back because I think it is true.
So this is a 13-week-old topic that you're bringing back.
I'm bringing back because I think it's locked. The road to the Super Bowl in the NFC goes through Lambeau Field.
I don't know. There's still a spot that's just down the road for the Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford is slated to be a guest on our Monday flagship show. So I'd hold off on that. And that half game might be a problem for the Packers down the road. That tie against Dallas, unbelievably. It's amazing how these first month results always simmer and then come home to roost when it's time to decide who's in and who's out, or who goes where, or who gets a bye, or who wins a division. That tie against Dallas back in week 4 is something that may prove to be a problem for Green Bay.
Unless
now
Seattle
a half game behind
beats the Rams, and then
it's a problem again, because the Seattle Seahawks would have the same number of wins as the Rams, pretty much. True. I mean, the Seahawks and the Rams are the 2 teams in the NFC right now with double-digit wins. Even if the Eagles win on Monday night, they won't be there. So that Packers tie might prove to be an issue. And you know what also does? That week 1 Patriots lost to Vegas.
Oh, it's a mutual
common game with Denver opponent that counts against New England, because New England's 0-1.
Right.
And the minute Denver just had a single win against the Raiders, already puts you guys in the hole on that front. But I'll just push back and say, yes, they look impressive. They're doing exactly what they need to do to finish strong. And what they need to do is have Jordan Love
coming
touchdown passes.
He's coming on, man.
2 games in a row now with 3 touchdown passes. His first touchdown pass at home, the one that he found Christian Watson for the first of 2 times.
Yeah, Watson is...
It was his first home touchdown pass since week 6.
Dang.
So you got that. You got Christian Watson now having receiving touchdowns in consecutive games for the first time since 2 years ago. You got Josh Jacobs with 20 carries, 86 rush yards, and a score. And then the defense doing its job with Micah. He was just all over the place, right?
Yep.
So you're seeing what you need to see from Green Bay, including holding off a red-hot Bears team. And if you see the photograph that's on the screen right here, it is of the game-sealing interception in the end zone of Caleb Williams.
Man, if Caleb throws that right away, that's a touchdown.
It's the same exact play that the Bears used to wrap things up against Philadelphia on the Black Friday game, where Caleb rolls to his left. He's got Swift here potentially, or DJ Moore, who was flipping out because he was wide open on this play, or Kmet in the end zone. It's the same play they used to nail the coffin on the Eagles, and instead it was one that was picked off to end the game and nail the coffin on the Bears here, who I thought, got a terrific fourth quarter and second half out of Caleb. It was where he was beginning to get all growned up again. He's got some obvious issues in terms of accuracy from time to time. But the bottom line is the road to the NFC North now goes through Lambeau. As for the NFC, there's still a couple teams that play out west in the NFC West that would raise their hand and say this is an overreaction.
NFC is stacked.
What else you got?
Wouldn't shock me what a Super Bowl team comes from the NFC.
What else you got?
Josh Allen, we got to talk about that game in Buffalo, man. It was everything that we wanted it to be. It lived up to the hype, the snow. That was so awesome. And Josh Allen is still the most dangerous quarterback in the NFL, and the Bills are going to win a playoff game.
I don't think that's an overreaction at all. I mean, I'm not going to push back and say Josh Allen is not the most dangerous quarterback in the NFL.
He's the best player in the league, right?
He could just show up and say, I'm going to account for 6 touchdowns today. And you'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. Oh, I'm gonna be the one who runs it in the red zone. Oh, okay. I'm gonna be the one who extends a play. I'm gonna be the one who extends a play and just connects in the smallest of next-gen stat centimeter by centimeter windows. You know what I mean? So you can't push back on that. And now you look at the standings in the AFC. The Bills are now going into the Monday Night Football game 5th. They're 5th.
Yeah.
And if they finish 5th, you don't think the Bills could go into the winner of the AFC North and one and done the Steelers or the Ravens?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm sitting here saying if you're 5th, you're playing the AFC North winner. Mm-hmm. Or even if you're 6th, you're playing the AFC South winner, and it's against a team that's, if it's Jacksonville, they've been there and kind of done it against by the way, Chargers against Jacksonville for another playoff game and a rematch of the wipeout that the Chargers suffered a couple weeks ago would be of interest to me. But Bills, as your 5 seed, going into the AFC North winner and one and dunning them is absolutely possible. And then if the Bills are now the road team and divisional playoff weekend, I don't know if does Denver or you want to see them for a third time?
Not particularly. No, I don't think so.
It's not.
No.
So you could even add Josh Allen is still the most dangerous quarterback in the game. The Bills are winning a playoff game and will prove to be the most dangerous team you don't want to be led into the playoffs.
That's a lot to fit on the lower third.
I'm just verbally adding it, not graphically adding it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think that whoever doesn't win the AFC East is going to be the 5 seed, and I think they absolutely go into Pittsburgh or Baltimore and win that playoff game.
I think you're winning the AFC East. It would be a massive collapse that I don't think New England has in front of them because their last 3 games are against
I don't want to count chickens yet.
The Ravens and then the 2 lower half teams in the AFC East, and then the Bills.
The Bills still have to play Philadelphia.
They do. I mean, it's possible, but I still think this is a proper reaction.
Rich, I want to talk about this team. I know they had a bye week, but it seems like if anyone won the bye over the weekend, it was the Carolina Panthers. The NFC South is their division to lose.
I don't know about division to lose, but it's there for them. I mean, the fact that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose in the rain at home to New Orleans. Listen, they're getting Mike Evans back on Thursday.
Might be too late.
I don't think it's too late. It's definitely not too late. They're tied with Carolina.
Come on, a home game to the Saints?
It happens. It happened to Tom Brady, didn't it?
Yeah, but
all the time.
Yeah, but it's not supposed to happen when it's right there. They're a 2-win team. You got Baker Mayfield. Bucky Irving is back doing Bucky Irving type things. You got to handle business.
I understand where you're going on all of this because they were 6-2 coming off of the bye, and they are just not the same team since coming off of that bye. They are now 1-4 since coming off that bye. They were 6-2. They're now 7-6. Ooh. They were 1-4. They were 4-1 in one possession games before the bye. 1-2 in those such games since then. The only reason why they're still in first place right now is they beat Carolina in the current common games tiebreaker, 5-4 against 4-5. They have Atlanta on Thursday night, and they have Carolina twice with a visit to Miami in there. But the Panthers, you take a look at their schedule. the rest of the way. It is 2 of 3 against, against Tampa, but the middle game of those games is a home date with Seattle, which is going to need it. And by the way, I might be calling that game. I'm waiting to hear which game it is that I'm calling.
Oh, fantastic.
On NFL Network on that final week 17. It could be that one, or it could be Chargers and Texans as well here in Los
equally
Angeles.
as fun.
I don't know. We'll see. But it's the Panthers. It's both of their divisions to lose. It's right there. But, I mean, if you really want to talk about the team that won a bye week in football this weekend, it would be the Miami Hurricanes, wouldn't it?
Wow.
We're sitting at home.
Hold on.
All of a sudden, wait a minute.
Hold on.
Wait a minute. Oh.
Hey, what's that?
Our resumes will be compared with Notre Dame after all. Oh.
College
and
football playoff.
we're just sitting at home, and we were out for weeks, and now we're in.
Just hold it for like
4
more minutes.
There's that.
Just wait one more minute.
You're talking about winning a bye week. I just needed to
Sorry,
point
they did
that
win a bye
out.
week. I'm just talking. Look, if you're talking about who's playing better, who's trending in the right direction, I like what Carolina's doing,
Understood.
and I wouldn't be shocked if they
Understood.
swept Tampa to bring this home.
Again, Mike Evans is coming back. Okay, they're getting healthy on all fronts. Certainly, if they can get Kalijah Cansey back, let's just all wait and see.
Something's
what's
up
gonna
with
happen.
Baker. He's missing throws that he's not
He
accustomed
might not
to
be
missing.
healthy, just like Lamar right now.
Well,
But we shall see. I
We're
mean, the
gonna talk
ball
about
hit
Lamar.
Ibuka in the hands for a
It
touchdown.
was a little high, but I hear you.
I'll just call this
I'm
an
worried
overreaction
about
because you
Tampa.
could put the Buccaneers name in there just as well.
All right, let's talk about Baltimore. Man, oh man. The Ravens are going to finish under 500, and Lamar Jackson is no longer a top 5 quarterback.
Well, he's not playing like a top 5 quarterback right now, and we'll find out if he's hurt. He's beginning to find that second gear, and running it, which is a good sign. But in the same thing, I mean, this is just the same thing that the Chiefs are I guess, trying to overcome, which is just too many mistakes. Too many mistakes you just don't normally see. And I don't know, is it the aggregate of playing long seasons one year after another? I honestly don't know how to put my finger on it, because the Ravens won 5 in a row and then had back-to-back home games against division opponents and lost them both.
Yeah, pretty surprising.
Lost them both. On Thanksgiving night, which means they had an extra mini bye to take on the Steelers, and they did not look fresh. It was the Steelers who looked fresh with a 42-year-old quarterback and a cast on his hand who's running one in and throwing one in. It wasn't Lamar who ran one in and threw one in. It was Rodgers who did.
Yeah.
And the defense was the one that was balling out more than the Ravens defense. I mean, they couldn't stop the Rodgers to DK Metcalf connection that suddenly got 12 targets in. I mean, we haven't seen that in a while.
That's a good sign for the Steelers offense.
The Steelers defense did hold the Steelers to just 34 rush yards, but despite that, Gainwell and Warren each had a touchdown.
Yep.
So the running backs still provided points, just not rush yards. And Derrick Henry's doing what he's supposed to be doing. I know I'm going all high register here. Derrick Henry had 25 carries, so it's not like where did he go, which is a hallmark of a lot of their losses that are head scratchers. 94 rush yards. It's a season high 25 carries. And he still had over 100 scrimmage yards. It's his 65th career game, second most among active players. You know who's number one? McCaffrey. Who's coming off of the bye.
Off of the bye. Yeah.
And might be your front runner for Offensive Player of the Year with
JSN.
JSN now.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that, a serious month of cooling off for Jonathan Taylor, with the exception, I guess, of that Berlin game, but I digress. But it's the things like Isaiah Likely had a touchdown, and then he didn't.
But that's
where you need that third step, and the foot almost got down.
What are we doing with the officiating?
I understand. But these are all the things that seem to be happening to the Ravens these days, just a one little thing after another. So you can't sit here and say Lamar is no longer a top 5 quarterback
I don't know.
as a professional. He's not this year. He's not this year.
I think he's been passed by a few guys.
I don't even think you could sit here and say he's a top 10 quarterback this year.
Yeah, probably not.
Just based on the results. But again, there's still
just
a month to go.
Just the eye test.
Again,
he just doesn't look like it.
There's still a month to go. And just snap cut to a week ago. Tomlin was washed. Rodgers was washed. The Steelers' season was washed. And it may still be the case on all fronts.
It might.
But one team is 7-6 with a road division win in their back pocket going into the final game against the Ravens in the Week 18 contest. That might mean the whole marbles because the Bengals and the Browns are not going to catch anybody now. So the Ravens still have a shot at the division, a shot at the playoffs, and a shot maybe at the Bills or the Chargers. It could be a Harbaugh in a wild card weekend game. Who knows? So I think this is still too declarative. But the Ravens finish. I'll split this half too. The Ravens finishing below 500, totally can buy it. Can they do it and still win the division? Don't you think?
They would need maybe a
couple weeks ago, you
yeah.
even said here on this show that
it still feels
it's
that
be
way.
An 8-9 winner for the AFC North.
It still feels that way. And I also think, look, all the conversations we've been having in the last few weeks about Tomlin and the Steelers, that's all going to get shifted now to the Ravens and John Harbaugh this week. That's going to be the narrative.
Well, I don't see that, but it's definitely a disappointing first 14 weeks of the season for the Ravens. There's no doubt. To go 1-5, then climb out of that hole, to go above 500, and then lose your next 2 home games against division opponents that you should beat. Coming off of a 5-game win streak and playing like you were. So
they've underachieved with Lamar, right? In the last 7 years?
Well, the fact
6
that
years?
they haven't won a Super Bowl, haven't gone to one.
They've only been to an AFC Championship game once.
So
that's what I'm saying.
The results are disappointing. Yes, they are.
All right, 2 more.
Yeah.
Really, really a bummer what happened to Daniel Jones on Sunday.
Agreed.
Looking like a torn Achilles, and it puts obviously his future in doubt. So after his injury, the Colts are back to square one at quarterback. They should trade for Mac Jones this offseason.
Bro, here's the problem with that. They already traded away 2 first-rounders to the Jets for Sauce Gardner. And when that happened, I came on this show, the flagship show, any show that would have me, and said, this trade, by flipping your 2 ones in the next 2 drafts, shows you feel you've got your guy. You feel like you're going in on Daniel Jones.
Number 1 for Mac Jones. You can get him for a second or third rounder, I'm sure.
But those are the ones you need to use still.
You need a quarterback. You can't go into the season with Anthony Richardson
or
you're hoping next year.
I don't know. Or you're hoping that somehow, some way, that Daniel Jones could come back in time. I don't know. I mean, it was right around now is when Deshaun Watson popped his Achilles last year, and he's not playing at all this year. I have no idea. But this is a disaster for the Colts organization.
Disaster.
Because Anthony Richardson is not the starting quarterback there for a reason, because he wasn't ready still, or they didn't believe in him. And he's not even there right now because of that freak injury with the elastic band that popped his orbital bone. So we'll see what Riley Leonard's got. What he's got is an 8-5 team. Hey, at least someone from Notre Dame's playing meaningful football.
Wow, just so many shots at the Irish.
I'm not taking any shots at the Irish. I thought they should have been playing in the college football playoff.
I agree, and we're going to talk about them in a minute.
All right. But trading for Mac Jones, not a bad idea, but why would the Niners flip him?
Because you can get a high draft pick.
But why would the Niners flip him? This year, the fact that the Niners they're not in the hunt. They are, by the way, the Niners are not only a wild card team.
They're a team that nobody's really talking about as a real contender.
Because they have a last place schedule that they're going to start catching in. They have the Bears at home.
Like the Patriots.
In the second to last game of the season. But other than that, they're coming off their bye. Home for Tennessee. They're at Indianapolis. They're going to be taking on a Colts team that might start Anthony Richardson coming off of IR or Riley Leonard, bud. And then they're home for the Bears, and then they have Seattle. They are in the mix for the division. They're in the mix for the 1 seed. They're only 9-4. They're a game behind the Niners and Seattle. They could knock Seattle out of the running for the 1 seed and the division in one fell swoop in the last game of the season. And I know the reason why they're in that possible position is because Mac Jones was there. Why would they trade him? And I heard the reason why Mac Jones is under contract there next year is Mac wanted to go play for the Niners and Kyle Shanahan to go through the Sam Darnold, program. And the Niners were like, okay, great. Give us another year. And he's like, sure.
Well, I think
so. Mac kind of wants to be there too. Obviously, I know he wants to be a starter.
He could be a starter next year if he wants. I think also Kyle Shanahan has proven they can get anybody to play back up there and win games.
Okay. I'll call that an overreaction. Right. But you traded 2 1s. You're not trading a 2 or a 3 now. You need to use those, man. You can't just have no draft choices in the first, 75, 80 picks of a draft. What else, Chris?
Rams have done it. They've worked out. Last one. After missing out on the college football playoff, Marcus Freeman is going to be in the NFL next year.
I wouldn't be surprised if his reaction to this is like, what's happening here?
What's the point?
What is the point?
It's preposterous.
What is
Notre
the point?
Dame is
I'm
not
doing
in the
all of this stuff.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, again, everybody is rightfully, eviscerating the college football playoff committee because they showed us their work over the last few weeks on the Tuesday night ESPN broadcasted show about this is what's going on beneath the hood to get the conversation started. Mm-hmm. The problem is they keep giving you reasoning that gives a roadmap to all the teams on how they can view their position when they play these games. And then to have it flipped in one particular case on Notre Dame, even though, head to head, that's all that should matter, right? Miami beat Notre Dame, so thus Miami should go over Notre Dame. Right. The question is, though, why is Alabama allowed to have no repercussions from a championship game loss, but BYU does? Why? Because BYU lost to the same opponent twice? What does that mean? Honestly, so BYU, sorry, you played for the conference championship, you lost, and so you're out. Now that you're out, that allows Miami to move up. Now we're all of a sudden, hey, we got to, wait a minute, Miami played Notre Dame head-to-head? We haven't talked about that at all. I'm shocked to learn that.
I mean, Alabama basically no-showed this weekend.
People are outraged about, but then again, why should Alabama be penalized for playing in a conference championship game that I feel has no place in this world anymore?
Would have been nice if they put up a little bit of a fight.
But if Miami played Virginia and they didn't look good, or Miami played Duke and they didn't look good, I wish they'd put up a better fight. But why should Alabama have that applied to it because it played when Miami could just sit at home and do what I think Alabama, had they not made it, wish they could have done, which is like, this is our resume. We beat Georgia.
Yeah.
Judge us on this. Miami's like, this is our resume. We beat Notre Dame. Judge us on this. They didn't have an ACC championship game to have to play for, which why wasn't that held against them? You didn't even play in a conference championship. Why are you going? The whole thing's stupid, which is the ultimate thing. And hey, James Madison in Tulane, it is on you.
Yeah, show up.
It is on you.
Yeah.
To show up and show out and show everybody that just because we don't watch you play games and just because we don't respect your competition nationally, it's up to you to show us that we don't know what the hell we're talking about. Because, hey, the competition, the college football playoff committee decided, you know what we need to see again? We need to see a rematch between Ole Miss and Tulane, which, by the way, was a final score of 45-10.
Yeah, it was not close.
Way back when Lane Kiffin was the coach. Honestly, so that's the problem, is that there is a system where we are awarding teams that we don't watch all year and we don't respect the competition level of, and Notre Dame's got to sit. Makes no sense, but the bottom line is I don't think that's an overreaction. If I'm Marcus Freeman, I'm sitting there going, why don't I go to the football competition where there are rules? I know when there are rules.
Right.
I know when players can leave. I know when my coaches can leave.
Yeah.
I also know that if I have a certain record, I'm going to make the playoffs because it's just head-to-head record versus record with a whole other system of tie breaks that doesn't have a bunch of people sitting in a conference room deciding my fate.
Yeah, 10 wins gets you in the playoffs in the NFL.
Except this year, maybe.
Probably not. Do you think this finally pushes Notre Dame to join a conference, ACC or something?
I don't think so. Why would they do that? They get to keep all their money. That's part of the reason why they're pissed. Is if they
clearly it matters.
If they had listen, the fact that again Miami gets to go, right? They got to split their money with the rest of the ACC. Had Notre Dame gone, you know what they get to do? Keep the whole damn thing. Instead, now you got players throwing their jerseys on the Pop-Tarts Bowl desk and saying we're not playing.
Good for them for doing that.
We'll talk about that on the flagship show. Good stuff out of you, Chris.
Thanks, buddy.
That's it for this edition of Overreaction Monday. We're doing the Rich Eisen Show all week from New York City, from the ESPN studios in Lower Manhattan.
Cannot wait.
Guests include Paul Rudd. Stephen A. Smith is going to join us.
Nice.
While we're down there, right?
Why not?
Who else is joining us on that show? Oh, yeah. The actor Tony Goldwyn will be there. Hank Azaria. Might be going down a little bit of a Brockmeyer road.
I love it.
And then there's you. And then there's No Contest Wrestling as well on the Rich Eisen Podcast Network. For Chris, I am Rich. Overreaction Monday. Peace out. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.